If you've ever wondered what it's like to wake up every single morning in Denver, Colorado, and have just an incredible view of the mountains and have that type of lifestyle, you're not going to want to miss this video. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my 3 things you have to know about if you're considering moving to Golden, Colorado in 2024. Looking forward to sharing it with you. Let's go. All right, so before we get started, my name's Adam Lang. I'm a licensed realtor here in Denver, Colorado. Make videos just like this every single week, sharing different parts of Denver and why I love being a 40-plus year Colorado native. Before we get started, don't forget, you can always reach out to me, phone, email, text, whatever's most convenient, and you don't want to miss out on every video I release on a weekly basis. So make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. But now let's go ahead and talk about today's video. 3 things that if you're considering moving to Denver, you have to know about these 3 things about Golden, Colorado. So I grew up my entire life in Denver, in Wheat Ridge, which borders Golden. It's actually an area called Applewood. I went to Wheat Ridge High School, so our rival high school was Golden. And I just love this part of Denver. I think there are so many things about Golden that make it special and really unique compared to a lot of the other parts of Denver. So I'll be sharing all that with you guys today. My first point that I want to talk about today, though, is going to be just the very unique thing about Golden is that it's a community. So a lot of parts of Denver, people are coming and going, people are moving, they're there for a while, they leave. Something about Golden has this special difference about it, and I think it's this community aspect. So a lot of people that live in Golden have been there for a long time for good reason. It's a beautiful part of the western side of Denver, but I think it's more than that. So with Golden, you have its own little town, and what's nice about that is a lot of the stores in the town of Golden are mom and pop, single owners, not a big corporation or big chains. There's a lot of just very true entrepreneurs in Golden, and that creates this neighborhood environment where when you walk down the street, you go to a local coffee shop, maybe you grab a sandwich for lunch, you recognize the people working there, everybody knows you on a first name basis, very dog friendly. Just some of those aspects of Golden, in my opinion, make it incredibly special, and why I want to share with you as my first point just how Golden really is a neighborhood and a community. And I think that that is very rare nowadays anywhere in the US, especially in Colorado, just because we do have such a large amount of people moving here that haven't been here for very long, as far as, natives or locals for 10 plus years. So with that, it's just hard to find that type of environment where everybody really just syncs with one another. They're very neighborly and just have that community feel. There's a lot of, I think, reasons for that. One I just mentioned is just all of the, the stores and the shops that are locally owned and operated. But I think on top of that is also how Golden is a little bit more detached from other parts of Denver. So for example, if you're in Arvada or Lakewood or even Wheat Ridge, you have all these other neighboring, areas around you that are just kind of blending in from one to the next. With Golden, you are a bit more removed from a lot of these other neighborhoods. The only one that you really are directly next to would be Applewood, which is also kind of that Wheat Ridge area. I'm going to share a map video a little bit later today, and you can just see for yourself what I'm referring to when I talk about its proximity to these other areas, but also how it's a little bit more isolated, which creates a lot more of this kind of community feel. If you aren't familiar with Golden, Golden is most known for Coors Brewery. So throughout my entire life, Coors was always a staple for this part of the city of Denver. Not only were there a ton of employment opportunities in Golden for the brewery, but a lot of people that worked at Coors Brewery would also live in this part of town. Over the years, Coors has continued to grow and expand, and now they've been bought out by combined with Molson. So there's additional types of beer they're brewing, and it's just always kind of evolving. But that's also something that I think has caused a little bit of, just as the changing of the times have happened, not as many people that work in that work in Coors Brewery live in Golden. And part of that also is because Golden is becoming very, very expensive. So a lot of these Golden employees of Coors Brewery, they maybe don't still live in the town of Golden, which created almost more of like a cowboy, kind of a blue collar type feel back in the day. Nowadays, there's a little bit more of gentrification. There's, a little bit more expensive homes, which are creating a little bit different social environment. However, it still has the roots of what made Golden back in the day and why it's still such a great place. And a lot of that also comes down to these community events that they have. So, Coors Brewery is very involved, obviously, in Golden. There's lots of different different things throughout the year, a lot of summer, races, farmers markets, all sorts of really fun stuff to attend and to do. But 2 things I wanted to share with you. The first one is in the summertime, and it's the Goldens in Golden. Such a different, just unique event. And what happens is there's basically maybe 200 or 300 dog owners, all golden retriever owners, and they bring their dogs down for the day. They shut down the main street of downtown Golden, and it's just nothing but golden retrievers. And if you haven't been somewhere where there's that many of the same dog at the same time, it is definitely worth checking out. I don't have a golden retriever, but I think about just, man, if I had my dog there, just how a little intimidating it would be to, lose them if they ever got off their leash. So everybody's pretty good about that, but that's just one example of something that just really brings this community together, and another point for why I think this community aspect of Golden is so special. And then one other event that I love is there's a Golden Cruise Night. So every month in the summertime, there is a huge classic car Golden cruise, and they basically have one starting spot, and then they drive all the way around throughout different streets in Golden, and then they kind of end up in this one part of downtown Golden where they drive through. And so throughout this entire loop that they take, any car owners that want to participate for free, you can have all these different spots where you can set up your lawn chairs and just watch all the cool cars driving by. There's different little parking lots within businesses in Golden that are dedicated for certain types of cars. So for example, a bunch of 69 Mustangs are hanging out in the the Burger King parking lot for the evening, or that type of thing. But if you're a car person and you just, maybe not a car person, you just want to just have something cool to look at for a few hours, it brings out a ton of people. And it's every single month in the summertime. So just events like that really bring this Golden community a little bit higher up, in my opinion, on the list of just very inclusive, very just special communities and parts of Denver to live in, or to at least consider living in. So that's my first point, guys, just the community feel of Golden. So my second point is a little bit different. This one has to do just with the outdoors. So, Golden is on the far west side of Denver. In fact, if you go any further west, you are hitting a mountainside. So what makes Golden so great, in my opinion, is if you are moving to Colorado and you just have these aspirations to really be more intentional about getting outdoors, having an active outdoor lifestyle, and enjoying Mother Nature on a daily basis, you have those opportunities in Golden where it's a little bit more challenging in a lot of the other parts of Denver. You live in Aurora, or maybe even somewhere closer to downtown Denver. When you get off work at 5 p.m. or whatever time, but you get off work, to have the motivation to get in your car, fight traffic, get all the way over to at least to the Golden area, or anywhere that's kind of butting up to the hills, to the mountains, or even going even further up into the mountains, up to some of the mountain towns and ski areas and all that area. It's pretty, it's time intensive, and you have to really dedicate, the entire rest of your day or evening, or, a several hour time block to do so. With Golden, on the other hand, you're so close to amazing opportunities within 5 to 10 minutes. Some of these are even walking distance, depending on what part of Golden you live in. And I just think, in my opinion, if you are moving to Colorado for that purpose of being more outdoors and just really appreciating the outdoor lifestyle, there is not a better place, in my opinion, than Golden to do so. The only other two places I would even put on the same list would be Boulder, and then also maybe Castle Rock. So very opposite parts of Denver. Boulder is a little bit north of Golden. It's about a 25-minute drive on the back way to get up there. And then if you want to go to Castle Rock, that's another, probably 30 to 45 minutes depending on traffic to get significantly south. Castle Rock is really on your way to Colorado Springs. For Golden, though, what makes it so amazing, in my opinion, is it's the best of both worlds. Not only are you close to the mountains, you also have a lot of the major highway thoroughfares with easy access to get to there. So Highway 6, I-70, a lot of the, really efficient roads in Denver have access very, very close to Golden. So even if you do have to commute to downtown Denver, there's ways to do so without having it take you, too long. So I would say, though, that could come up as maybe a negative for some people. If you are still commuting to downtown Denver, or somewhere a little bit more in the central part of Denver on a daily basis, that could get to the point of being a little bit annoying, and maybe enough of a reason to consider living a little bit closer to wherever you are working. But if, the times are different nowadays. A lot of people work from home, or at least they have a blend of working from home a few days a week, and maybe commuting only a couple days a week. If that might be a scenario that you're involved in, I think Golden's great. If you only have to commute a couple days a week, it's not that big of a deal. But going back to just this outdoor active lifestyle that Golden provides you, a few things that I love in Golden. Number one is Lookout Mountain. So Lookout Mountain is just this really windy road right up against Golden. It has some incredible views, not only of the city, but also of Coors Brewery. There's also these really really, really strong wind thermals. So the different temperatures of the air going right up against the mountainside creates the perfect environment for paragliding. You'll see a ton of people in the summertime on an early, Saturday morning, just floating up in the sky up above the city of Golden. And just another very unique, just fun thing to witness on almost a daily basis in the summertime. Also at the top of Lookout Mountain is where Buffalo Bill Cody, a very historic and famous person in Colorado culture, he has his burial up there, a memorial. There's actually another museum up there as well for Buffalo Bill Cody, 5 to 10 minute drive from town. So that whole area on Lookout Mountain is incredible, not only for the views and some of these other features like the Buffalo Bill Cody Museum, but there's a ton of really good hiking, mountain biking. There's actually a lot of people, if you're brave enough, that road bike up Lookout Mountain. It's a pretty narrow road. I don't like it from a driving perspective, just worrying about these bikes being on the same road as me, but it's definitely, very well traveled. A lot of people do that also. So that's just one example of it being so close to Golden. And another one would be Table Mountain. So Table Mountain, on some of the shots that I'm sharing with you on this video, you can see some of the mountains have a very flat surface on the top of the mountain, thus Table Mountain. And Table Mountain is also a really good spot for people, especially if you have pets, if you have dogs, and you like to hike and just go out and work out with them. What's nice is you can take them off a leash in a few of the different parts of Table Mountain, which makes it a little bit easier for dog owners, especially if you got a big dog or just a dog that's active and pulling on your leash the whole time you're with them. So it gives you a little bit more peace of mind and just enjoy yourself a little bit more when you're doing some of the trails on Table Mountain. I love Rolling Hills Golf Course, which is only about maybe a 2 to 3 mile distance from Golden. Grew up going up to this part of Golden. It's kind of right on that border of Golden and Applewood. But really quick, guys, before we continue about that, up here, I've got another video I've filmed previously on Applewood. So if this is really, hitting some things that are important to you and you're really interested on this area of Denver, make sure you hit that video after this one so you can dive in a little bit deeper into Applewood. Pausing the video for 2 seconds, just want to remind you, my name is Adam Lang. I'm a licensed realtor here in Denver, Colorado. Love connecting with viewers just like yourselves, providing value in any way that I can. So that phone number, email, all that info that's popping up down below, would love to connect with you, so please reach out. And don't forget that like and that subscribe button, hit that as well, please. Every week, I have new videos just like this. I want to make sure you're the first ones to receive them. But for now, let's get back to the rest of the video. Another third and final place in Golden for this active outdoor lifestyle is also the Clear Creek. So there's a lot of water in Golden on streams and rivers, just the moving water. There's no lakes, nothing like that in Golden. But what you do have is this Clear Creek, which has been incredibly well built up over the last 15, 20 years. Nice landscaping, different, really clean, concrete paths, and just very well done and tastefully done. So there's a lot of parks that have been upgraded that are very nice to hang out in after work again, or just on the weekend, just go hang out and have a picnic, go out to go grab a lunch at one of these local spots and then take it down to the stream. In the summertime, there are a ton of tubing things going on. So a lot of people just buy the $5 inner tube from the Walmart nearby and they'll just float down the river. It's about, maybe a 15-minute trip in the tube from the top to the bottom, and a very, very, very social kind of party-like atmosphere on certain days in the summer. So if you're maybe a little bit younger, or at least young at heart, and that sounds fun to do, definitely check that out in summer too. It's really cool. All right, so just to recap, the first 2 things I've shared with you. Number 1, just talking about this incredible community feel of Golden. And then number 2, how it really embraces this active outdoor lifestyle. And then my third and final thing that you got to know about if you're moving or considering moving to Golden is just going to be the cost of living. So Golden is, after listening to all these amazing things I'm talking about Golden about, it's expensive. A lot of people are continuing to just realize just how special part of Denver this is. And I think with the change of just daily routine for a lot of people with their work schedules, more people working from home, a place like Golden that used to be maybe a little bit too far removed from the city for a daily commuter are now becoming a little bit more, dare I say, even preferred because people aren't commuting as often. So the cost of living in Golden has definitely been consistently going up over the years. I'm going to show you a map video really quick just to show you a few of the parts of Golden and what makes it so special and what makes it pretty expensive at the moment as well. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think more and more people are always going to appreciate that mountain backdrop that Golden has and just all the activities that they can partake in after work or just, on the weekends. All right, guys. So just wanted to do a quick map video just to give you a little bit more perspective on Golden. So here I am in RE, Colorado, which is what us realtors use to navigate and search for homes for our clients. So I just want to show you a couple quick things. So if I go into the matrix, that's where we search everything. I'm going to show you here in real time how this works. So I type in the city of Golden, and as you can see down here on the bottom left, it shows that there's currently 53 homes listed for sale here in Golden. And if I click the map view here, you can just see from that perspective kind of how everything looks regarding where it's located. So over here, obviously to the right of all of these little homes, that's the, Denver, downtown Denver is over here. And then you've got I-70, which is one of the roads that I was talking about earlier that's really conveniently located when it comes to, if you live in Golden, how easy it is to get to and from different places. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer here just to show you a couple quick things. So up here we have the Table Rock, which is that Table Mountain area. This big flat top area is one of the examples of hiking trails that are just super, super cool. North Table Mountain's a very popular spot to go. I've mentioned how just it's spread out regarding what part of Golden you're looking for. So if we do something really generic, just like the city of Golden, you're going to notice there's a lot of homes that pop up way over here, which is considered Genesee. And Genesee is a very special place. I love Genesee, but it's even further out of town. So if you live in Genesee, you're looking at more like probably a 45-minute minimum commute to downtown Denver. So, this isn't necessarily the spot that you would want to be focused in if you are really valuing some of the stuff that I've talked about earlier regarding being close to downtown and the walkability of so many of these parts of Golden. So this little area right here is really that downtown area. So Washington Avenue is kind of like the main street of downtown Golden. And right here, Clear Creek, that's the area that I think is super, super special and just a cool part of Golden, which is in the summertime, such a hot spot for the tubing down the Clear Creek and just the trails for walking your dog after work. Just so many amenities when you live in Golden. But I also wanted to show you in perspective how few homes for sale are in this downtown part of Golden. As an example, the only one that's showing up downtown is a condo, and it looks like it's actually just a 1-bed, 2-bath condo downtown. So that puts things into perspective for you a little bit. So if you do want to be, focused on Golden, you're going to be wanting to check out some of the areas a little bit to the east of downtown. This area right here that I'll zoom in on is one of those areas that has some of the slightly older homes. So this is a great spot if you're looking for a fixer-upper or you really value Golden. You want to be in Golden, but because of the higher price points, you're needing to find a deal. You're needing to find a home that has some value add, some opportunity to fix up a few of the rooms, maybe do some of the work yourself and build up some of that sweat equity. So one of those areas would be over here. So I'm just going to show you a few of these homes just so you have a perspective on that. So all right, so just to show you what these homes look like. So this would be an example of one that looks like a duplex. This one looks pretty nice, actually. Let's see what the price point is on this one. Yeah, this was over $1.5 million. So you have quite a range, even in this part that I was showing you. So that would be an example of one. This next one's 158, 1125, 269, and 265. So it looks like we have a couple condos along with a couple pretty high-end single-family homes. So I just bring that up because, as I said earlier, it is a mixed selection of homes in Golden. You're going to have quite a few that are in the higher price point, $1 million plus. And then you also, though, are going to still have some of the older fixer-upper homes. That didn't really have too many to show you of that specifically. So let me just show you a couple other examples of what I'm referring to. So let's see here. Okay, so really quick, guys, I'm going to show you one more. Here, this was only $7.2 million. So again, very, very, very affordable. Just kidding. Beautiful home here. Funny story about this home, coincidentally, this has actually been in the news because there is a famous person by the name of Deion Sanders, the coach of our University of Colorado CU Buffaloes. I'm an alumni of CU. And this is actually a home that his kids, along with I'm sure himself, just purchased. So this is actually Deion Sanders' new house that he's closing on here pretty soon, Beartooth Ranch. So pretty special house there, obviously. But showing you a couple others here, 5.9, 4, 1.7. So here would be a good one. So this is under $1 million, $892. Still a nice house. 3-car garage, 2-story. Looks like it's got a decent sized front yard. Neighbors are fairly close on the sides, but this is a pretty typical type house for Denver. Just to show you maybe a few of the interior pictures. You tell it's a bit weathered and worn just by the older style of oak railings on the staircase here. You can tell that the floor might be a little bit on the worn side. Just looks like it's been used quite a bit. But again, this is a kind of a typical home in Golden that has not been that much updated. You can tell by just the older fixtures of the fans and the lighting, just, some of the window coverings, a little bit older style of window coverings. So, still a nice house, but has some room for upgrades and improvements over time. So this would be an example of a home in Golden that would be worth possibly checking out if it met some of your needs. Guys, just wanted to share a couple of those with you, so hopefully that helped a little bit. Now, let's go back to the rest of the video. Thanks. Another reason why I think Golden is becoming even more and more expensive is with Colorado and Denver specifically continuing to grow and get more and more populated. This area on the western side of downtown Denver is very geographically limited. So there just really aren't a ton of options for Golden to continue to expand because you have these mountains and hills and different geographic type scenarios going on where they just can't build as much as other parts of Denver, such as, down south, down to the southeast, or even just up north out towards like Erie, Lafayette. There's a lot of these areas that just have a lot of open, flat land for people to continue to expand and build and just grow. With Golden, you don't have that ability, which creates this finite resource, this finite amount of area. And since so many people continuously want to live here, that becomes more and more expensive, supply and demand. And the last thing I'll say just about this cost of living in Golden, there definitely still are parts of Golden that are doable for most people. And what you're gonna have to consider is just whether or not you're right downtown and really close to all of these great shops and just walking distance to the different things that in my opinion make Golden so special. You just might have to be a little bit further out from there. There's still a lot of options for that, but you're just gonna have to drive 5 minutes to get to this downtown Golden area. There's a lot of this going on right now. If you're looking a little bit to the northeast of Golden, and that's an area that has some of the homes that are a little bit older, not quite as high price points, and just some of these places that still have some deals to be found. What it might mean though is you're buying a home that was built maybe in the 70s or 80s. It's got a little bit of TLC required in order to bring it up to the standard kind of quality of living that maybe you're used to for wherever you're moving from, or just to compete with a lot of the other parts of Denver that have a lot of new construction homes, or just areas that are a little bit more upkept and just developed, newer, some of that stuff going on. That's something that a lot of people really prefer and are looking for these days. So Golden definitely is maybe a not quite as preferred for people that have that as the top priority, just moving into a brand new construction home community. If you're moving to Golden, most likely you're gonna have to find a home that is a little bit more lived in and been loved for a few years by another family. All right, so just to recap, 3 things that you have to know about if you're considering moving here to Denver, Colorado, specifically Golden. Before I leave you guys today, I've got one more video I want to share with you. So I filmed a video about Golden almost a year ago, beginning of 2023. A ton of people have been engaging with me about that video. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to create this updated version for you today. But definitely check that out as well. And if you have any questions after watching that video or this video, please don't hesitate, guys. My phone number, my email, everything's down there below. I'm available for you 24/7, so whatever's easiest for you, reach out and let's connect. First thing I like to do is just jump on a 30-minute discovery call. I call it my real estate strategy session, and we can just get on a Zoom and I can actually screen share, show you these different parts of town, and we can start just to develop a few things for me to keep my eye on when it becomes a little bit more real time as far as you considering moving here. So I'd love the opportunity to help, again, whether 3 months, 3 years, whenever it is, it doesn't matter. I'd love to still connect with you. But don't forget, hit that like and that subscribe button. Every week, releasing new videos just like this one. I want to make sure you're the first ones to receive it. Until next week, I'll see you then. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.